Do you have the final say
No.
when something's done?
No, because if you end up being the final say, and you're wrong, it has to be by committee, even if it's fucking death by committee.
Yeah.
It has to be by committee because you have to trust each other at the end of the day for it to be the full encompassing piece with several sets of eyes on it.
So every different
Ears on it.
all your 3 different bands, you guys will come to a mutual agreement when a record is finished or a song is finished.
Generally
Pretty
speaking,
much, right?
yeah. I mean, there might be songs where I go, no, man,
The bass needs
trust
to come
me
up.
on this. Trust me on this one. You know, you might pick your battles
Yeah.
on certain tracks, but generally speaking, it's a mutually arrived upon.
Does everyone want their parts louder typically or no?
Tool, yeah, yeah. It's a fight to the death every fucking time. But that's typical with a live band.
Yeah.
With 4 people who are deaf. Old guys that are deaf. I can't hear me. You're deaf. No, but yeah, I think generally speaking though, it is you're looking for the balance of it.
Back in the day, people used to have records mixed and they would be in the mixing, they'd be there for the mix a lot of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And records are not really made that way anymore.
Mm-mm.
They're not mixed that way or anything.
Mm-mm.
Is that good or bad?
Well, I think because of the nature of being able to recall something in Logic or Pro Tools, Matt definitely sets up, we have a whole Neve board that he sets up to mix everything on, so it's not super easy to recall that. He has to set that thing up, and
Yeah.
the studio is now a mixing studio for the duration of mixing. So we make sure that that thing is what it's going to be to the end of time until we're done mixing. So the ease of recalling it's easier than it might have been when you're paying $3,000 a day plus.
Yeah.
Back in the day with a mixer, you're just trying to get it done because you're hemorrhaging money in the studio with every, who wants lunch? And there's $5,000. But I think it's better now.
Yeah.
And for us, because we are doing it the old analog way on a board, mixing it like you would in a normal studio. But we have our studio, we have our own board, and the recalls end up being easier, and it's actually less tedious when you get, Matt will say, okay, 11 p.m. a mix is going to come in. Let me know in the morning what you've got, and so I can sit there with my blue headphones and take notes and come back and listen to it piece by piece, all at once, drive around with it. And, when it comes to mixing, you've done it. Like, oh, this song sounds weird on my phone. Yeah, it's coming out of this little speaker, right? At the Portlandia scene, like, doesn't it sound great on these little speakers? No, it does not. That's the joke, right?
Isn't it funny though that is a thing even that who would have thought
right
back in 1998?
I'm gonna listen to my music through these salt and pepper shakers.
Right.
What? So I have to go. I drive around. I'll put it in my truck and drive around. I'll stream it off my iPhone. I'll actually get put it on a flash drive and put it through my stereo.
Right.
Remember those? There's
Yeah.
there's 2 speakers, a right and a left, with an amp. Remember those?
I do.
Yeah. So I put it through that just to see what that sounds like pre-mastering in those various settings. Each track.
But you do listen but you will listen through the speakers on your phone too, though, right?
Yeah.
Because you know that a lot of people are gonna listen
Yeah,
like
and
that.
if the vocal's way too loud because it's just the frequency that it's sitting at on that phone, it sounds weird because now you sound out of tune because the music is slightly pitched down, and you sound like you're sharp.
Right.
So you have to pay attention to those things. You miss them. I missed a lot of them. Go back and listen and go, God damn it. Too late.
If one of your songs comes on a TV show, on the radio, on whatever, just where do you listen to it or not?
Well, it depends on the show, right?
Okay.
If it's Yellowstone, I'm going to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If it came on the radio, let's say that you actually listen to the radio, or if you're listening to I mean, do you stream typically? You remember what a radio is, right?
Yeah, I think
okay,
so.
let's say when people used to listen to the radio 5 years ago, Maynard.
Back with the fireplace,
Back
and
with the
everybody sitting
fireplace.
around the old radio,
Would you-
listening
would
to the
you
world
listen-
being invaded by aliens.
Okay, so we'll have to go back 15 years now.
Okay.
When you're driving around,
Yeah.
you'd be driving around wherever, and a song would come on the radio. Do you turn it off, or do you listen to it, or do you
I'll
listen to a
listen
little bit of it?
I want to listen to it because I want to see what it sounds like
Yeah.
on that car stereo, because there's a weird compression that goes on, and you got to hear what you have to pay attention to that. That's part of our world.
Remember how radio stations had different compressors, and your song would sound, man, my song sounds so much better here in Iowa
Yes.
than it did on this station.
Yeah, you do notice that. Yeah, it's weird. I do notice the degradation over when you're just Bluetoothing it through the MP3, MP 1.5. I definitely can hear like all the cool stuff disappearing. The low response stuff.
This year you were touring from what, January till July, something like that?
Yeah, I got home on July 11th and dove right into Harvest.
Now, does that drive you nuts being away from home for that long?
Yeah, but COVID, you're trying to cram 3 years of touring into 1 year. So you have to catch up.
Is
You
that
have to
the
do it.
longest stint that you've done in the past, or that?
No, back in the early days when when you were bulletproof,
Yeah.
you could do a lot more touring, but can't really do that now. Your body can't take it. So you have to really pace yourself. So it's been pretty grueling going right back out this fall with Pussifer. Probably going to go to Europe next summer, do the festivals with Pussifer, because this is our time. We haven't toured since 2016, so this is our time to take our 12, 14 months to work this new album.
And the vineyard, how do you work that around Harvest?
Grapes don't give a fuck about your band, 100%. So they start coming at the end of July,
Yeah.
and we usually see our last fruit somewhere near the middle of September. Then you have that 3 or 4 weeks of processing that until it's done, and you can walk away by the middle of October.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years, as far as music?
Well, it all depends on the state of things, right? You could say that. Imagine saying that in 2002, right? Go, where are we going to be in 5 years? Well, from the time we started recording V is for Vagina with Pussifer to the day that we released it, the music industry bottom fell out.
Yeah.
So easily 1 out of 5 record stores were even in existence from the time we recorded it to the time we released it. Like Tower Records gone, Virgin Megastore gone, Walmart refusing to take your record anyway, Target going, vagina? Really? No. And returning your records because it has the word vagina on it. You kind of saw it coming, and the record labels had been fat and greedy up to that point, so it's understandable that, easily 50% or 75% of the label's staff were gone between 2001 and 2010.
Yeah.
So for us, depending on what's next for us, I'm a farmer, so I'm seeing a lot of climate nuances going on. I see whispers of water wars. The current political situation is mind-boggling. So I don't know where we're going to be in 5 years. I just know that if we can be adaptable, we'll survive all of those things. So that's going to be the biggest trick, is just being adaptable to what's coming next. So
But you see yourself, you're going to still be making music.
we're going to
though.
still be making music. I'm going to still be making wine. I'm going to still be growing food, and my ducks will hopefully still be producing eggs. All those things are going forward, unless they're not.
Right.
And that's really what it comes down to. If you're going to be a jazz-like musician in life in general, you have to be adaptable.
This is the first time I've been up here to this area of
Verde
Arizona,
Valley.
and it's absolutely beautiful. Do you want people to know that or not?
Well, I want you, Come
Is
visit.
that-
Come visit.
Is that a secret or
Come
not?
visit, and then fuck off.
I mean, it's really,
Get out.
it's really beautiful here. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
I don't usually,
But it's nothing new. It's for years the destination locations in Arizona have been Sedona, Jerome, and the Grand Canyon.
yeah.
That's a given. That's been for decades to come up. That's why you're going to get out of Phoenix to go up to these areas. So nothing about that has changed. The only thing that's changed is cottonwood found its way several years back. So now we have a thing here. The wine industry in general, if you're familiar with kind of old world areas, it didn't really matter king, queen, dictator, fascist, president. Doesn't really matter. Those little communities that had vineyards and grow their own food and have more connection to the nuances of weather and are adaptable, they're still there. Hundreds of years of those things, and the way that they do business is not we have to grow 5% every year. It's like we have to survive every year. Put a little nest egg aside, but like the economy is not based on investors and growth and destruction of another country for resources.
Right.